Hey everybody. So I'm standing here outside of a Target. I'm still in Nebraska, and I just want you to take a look because this is what about 90% or more of the stores, even here in Omaha, Nebraska, look like right now. Let's take a look. So this was literally just a week ago a really nice Target store, and as you can see, it now looks like a third world shithole. And yes, I do say shithole of a store. And I'd say the majority of businesses across the country actually look like this right now, either because they have been completely smashed and looted or because they are afraid of getting smashed and looted. And I just, I think to myself, what other subject, what other topic in the world would we ever allow this to happen for? It is the topic of racism, which is such a joke. It is such a ridiculous joke that we are actually pretending like racism is such a real and prevalent issue and problem in our country in the year 2020, that we have allowed our country and our businesses to turn into this, that we have allowed businesses to be smashed apart, looted, burned. I mean, everything is disgusting. Look at all these people walking around with masks on their face because they still believe that they're going to be victims of this global pandemic. I mean, it is what the left has done, managed to do in the last few months, but particularly in the last week, is so disgusting and just so absolutely destructive. And I can't wrap my head around the fact that there's literally no other subject in the world, whether it be poverty, whether it be disease, whether it be anything, any issue, which we would allow this to happen to our storefronts, to our businesses, to small businesses, to anything. But the topic of racism, I mean, at what point are we going to stand up and say, this is ridiculous? This is absolutely absurd. By every viable metric that we can look at, regardless of what color your skin is, if you finish high school, if you don't get pregnant, if you make good choices, if you don't fall into a life of crime or fall into a gang, your life is going to turn out okay. If you make good choices, your life will be all right. If you actually contribute something to society, if you act like a decent person, if you actually are a productive member of our culture, of our country, of our society, your life is going to be better than where it started. You're going to be all right. And the color of your skin is absolutely no inhibition to that whatsoever. We've seen numerous people who have proven that very thing that I just said. People who have come from absolute poverty, absolute nothing, and they have made incredible successes out of their lives because they don't fall for this liberal bullshit narrative about racism and about all this other crap that they want us to believe that justifies and excuses this. And look at how people just act like it's normal. Look at how white people, black people, brown people, everybody just walks around like, oh, well, of course, we're going to board up buildings. Of course, we're going to completely tear up all our main streets. Of course, who cares? Who cares? Because of racism. That also real, also true, also overpowering thing in this country that's so real. Racism, absolute bullshit, and I'm so sick of it. I am so absolutely sick of it. Like, at what point are we going to start pushing back and saying this is bullshit? It is bullshit narrative of the left. Listen, it's bad enough if they want to just divide us because of an election. If they want to divide us by race and by majority versus minority because it's beneficial to them in a voting system. But it's a whole other thing when they're literally turning our amazing country into a third world shithole based off of the absolute lie that is the racism narrative in America. I've absolutely had it. I'm sick of it. And I'm not putting up with it anymore. I'm not. I you know, I think that white people in this country are so conditioned to be overly sensitive when speaking to people who are black or brown You know, we're trained and conditioned to not argue the truth. We're trained and conditioned to pretend like everything that these people feel is genuine and authentic and truthful. Meanwhile, there's no reciprocity. Don't get it twisted. It is no one gives a shit about how you feel if you're white. No one gives a shit about facts, logic, information. It is all about the feelings of anybody who's not Caucasian. And if you actually bring up facts, statistics, information, which shows that the very thing that people are upset about is not real, there is not a problem in this country disproportionately with police targeting racial minorities to kill them. That's not a thing. And you know how we know? Because we have information. Check out the FBI crime statistics. Look for yourself. And if you are somebody in this country who feels like you can't get ahead, stop blaming the color of your skin and learn more, develop more skills, get sharper, put more effort into your appearance. Put more effort into the way that you present yourself to the world. But I'm sick and tired of hearing about your feelings at this point when this is the result that our entire country is turning into a third world shithole because we're giving it over to progressive leftists who we've somehow, for some reason, given permission to tear the whole goddamn country apart based off of a fucking lie. Like, at what point are we going to stand up and somebody say, enough, this is bullshit. We do not have a police brutality targeting racial minorities in this country problem. We have a liberal problem. We have a Democrat problem. We have a progressive problem. We have an Antifa problem. We have a Nancy Pelosi fucking problem. We, I want to know at what point people are going to stand up and fight back. I want to know. I want to know at what point we're going to stop pretending and catering to the feelings of people who are pretending as though this is a real and legitimate thing in this country when we have actually absolutely no evidence that this is real. I'm sick and tired of driving around and seeing businesses and storefronts with broken windows. I mean, it's like Kristallnacht in America. And the brown shirts are the liberals. You say, oh my God, what a terrible thing that happened. It's happening right now in this country. And it's like nobody knows what to do. Nobody knows what to say. Well, enough. I mean, enough is enough. It's time that I'm not trying to make this a race thing. I'm really not. I want to make this a fact versus fiction thing. I want to make this a truth and reality versus narrative and myth thing. And say, if you, up until this point, feel justified in turning my country into a shithole because of your feelings about what you think is happening to you or people like you because of the color of your skin, look at the numbers, look at the reality, and see that this is a bullshit narrative, and that if there's a problem in your life, fix your own problems. Fix your own life. Stop blaming other people. And stop tearing my fucking country apart.